The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub Grill. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. And Coach, I think this is one of the things that we love to do is to come off of a big win like this and talk to you. Now, obviously, people in the press and people in PR like to hype up things a little bit. And number one team in the country you knock off. It's the first top 5 team that Winona State has won. But as far as you, is this the biggest game that you've won as a head coach?
Yeah, I hate to put my finger right on one, but it's up there. And I think the other one that would be in comparison was the first playoff win that we had at home here against Emporia State. It was actually on my birthday, so personally it was kind of a cool deal. But this one, for our program, we needed it the most, and it's a conference school. It's a rival school, obviously, and to knock them off the pedestal is as big as it gets.
Can you tell me what was kind of going through your mind late in the game when you think, hey, we got a shot at this? We're on our way to this one.
Well, I knew it wasn't that far to Mayo Clinic if I had the heart attack. You know, if they had to fly me over, I'd be fine. But no, I knew we had the game. I mean, you could tell on the sidelines our kids believed in it the whole week and got to the game, and they were right on target. So our mental edge was really sharp. We handled the game well. So down the stretch, I just knew if we just continue to do things right, we were going to be just fine. And even when they had the ball at that very last drive, you know, it's still as dicey as it was. But those are big games. I mean, our players haven't had that much experience in those kind of big games and down the stretch. And so, you know, some of us have been around and have been through a lot of that. But I knew that I could tell by the feel of the game that the kids were ready to finish it out.
All right, and then one last question before we actually get to the highlights. I remember last week you said, if you're on top of your game, if the defense plays as one, if the offense is clicking, then you can beat anybody. Is that basically what happened?
And I think we proved that. I really do. And the kids hear it from us all the time. You can ask the guys today the same thing. But we worked hard on that all week, and I challenged them to really understand that we can win the game. And that the power of the mind is unbelievable. And we spend a lot of time on mental training. But until you actually do it, then it's just training. You train and then actually compete at that high of a level on the road with all the things against you, 2 turnovers to start the second. I mean, all those things, and overcome that, then you really truly become a team, and you can beat anybody in the country doing that.
All right, well, let's take a look at the highlights. A 31-27 win for the Warriors over number 1 Minnesota State Mankato on the road.
Yeah, it was a day of highlights. I mean, you just start looking at some of the defensive highlights here. Guys running around. Mike Imperiale was great. Jeff Brown was fantastic all day long. Colin Corcoran, of course, he had 17 tackles. You could see him flying around. That was Jeff Brown. There's Colin with the blitz right up the pipe and making the tackle right there with Mike Imperiale. Jarrett Wood played great. And then, Jack Nelson was awesome. We had one pick, bounced off a guy's shoulder pads, but, Josh Micah showed up. Alan May showed up. Cam Johnson. Paul Preston. I mean, really, you look at the stars that have to make plays, did it, and that's what we're looking for. Again, Mike Imperiale right there with that tackle, just played great. But nobody has shut down Minnesota State's running game. Their best running back wasn't playing, but still, I mean, they're still the same guys up front. That was on the reverse. Jeff Brown made a great play there. Here's Paul Preston coming out on a power trap, or PT we call it, and good blocking out in front of him. Jack Nelson, again, just razor sharp most of the day. That's out to Paul Preston. You can see how physical he is at the end. He had a great day for us. Most rushing against him all year at only 86 yards. They were only giving up, 60 a game and 11 points. So to do that, and you can see right there, knocking their quarterback back and in big downs is great. Again, making big plays, tackling in the open field, and creating an atmosphere where we could do something pretty special. Again, just running people down, being physical down by the goal line. We did a great job. Special teams also played well in the day, but our tempo in which we played at was the best that we played at all year. I mean, you look at these catches. I mean, that's just unbelievable, where those guys continue to make big plays on the sideline, running through tackles, blocking out in front. I mean, we didn't see this every week in the Warriors, and that's something we got to continue to work on. Where when they come to play, I mean, look at this. I mean, Alan May just blew the doors off that defense and scored a touchdown. Another Jack Nelson throw. Look at this catch on the sideline. I mean, but that's what our expectations are every time we throw it up there, and it doesn't always happen, but it sure did this week. Another play right there, a nice pick. Down the sideline we go. I mean, it was really fun, and our guys were flying around, and another one was Tamrick Atwood. But I mean, look at that. I mean, we tackled 2 guys on that play, so a lot of fun. Again, guys out front, Paul Preston, just about made that kid miss as well, but he had another big day for us, and he's a true threat. Getting down the sideline, you'll see him put the ball right here. I think we got about to the 1 there, something like that, and then threw the touchdown over here to the left to Alan May. But again, fantastic day for all of us, and you can see Mike Imperial. That's a 4th and 1 stop right there. Our whole team went crazy, in fact, I think we got a penalty out of the deal, but we had a lot of fun doing it. Carter McCauley, 44-yard field goal. Again, that wind was nasty. It was about a gust of 20-25 miles an hour right down the field, so to kick anything any direction was hard. Eric Berth right here, the good old Windhawk rolling. He's getting healthy. His shoulders are good. We threw the ball out to him there and made a great play. Here we had a kid wide open down the middle of the field, but we still got Josh got held really bad, and Jack put it on him. Look at this play. I mean, that's a 27-yard touchdown from Jack Nelson to Cam Johnson. It was just beautiful. And this is at the end of the game. We had to put the game away, and you see the plays that we're making, the pressures. And this is Tamrick Atwood, a kid that kind of been bad luck Charlie a couple times. We've had some big plays where he's right there and didn't get it, and then here it is. This is the 86-yard punt,
wow.
New school record. And that wasn't a joke. I mean, he hammered it, and plus the wind, plus the guy picks it up and helps us out by running around for a while and taking time off the clock when they had to score to beat us and had to get all the way to the end zone and beat us, and there was even a block in the back. So here's the last play of the game. They did make it all the way to midfield. They throw it up, and you can see our guys did a good job keeping the ball in front of us and batting that ball down to the ground for the win.
One of the other amazing statistics in this game is that you were down 7 minutes as far as time of possession. They had the ball 7 more minutes than you did. Talk about that, about not, only having the ball 26 minutes, being able to use all 26 minutes to score the points that you had and stop them.
Well, you compare it to another really great team is Sioux Falls, and we had the ball over 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Our offense is explosive. We just need to have it in our hands more often, and really credit the defense for that. They played fantastic, and our special teams did flip the field and put them in our defense in a better situation. But more importantly is we took better care of the football. And also Minnesota State is traditional. They huddle. They're not playing at such a fast tempo, but they're leading the league in minutes, or them in Duluth, and we're closer to the bottom. So got it closer, so we're working, but a very important stat in the game.
So even though we saw all those great highlights, is there anything that you saw in the tape that you still need to work on this week as you head into Wayne State?
Oh, absolutely. We found plenty. But, winning heals a lot of things. And I think the biggest thing is that, we gave away a couple games, I think, this year. And a big win like that kind of heals that a little bit. And we have a great opportunity. I mean, we got 2 out of the last 3 games are teams that are in the playoff hunt with Augustana and Southwest. And of course, Wayne State's been kind of a pain in our butt the last few years, and they have a good program down there. So got to come to play our best, and they got 2 games at home, man. We got to show up and have some fun doing it.
All right, let's take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll have the player perspective. Jack Nelson, the Warrior quarterback, will be coming up right after this. The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub Grill.
We chose HBC because they're a local company. They have a big audience in Winona, which is the geographic group that we're looking for. Mel is very easy to work with. She's genuinely concerned about how our money is being spent, and she does everything she can to make sure we get the most for our money. She takes care of us. So whenever there's a problem, which is rarely, I know that I can go to her and she's going to take care of it.
To see how HBC Advertising can help your company, call Melanie at 507-474-5802.
Tune in for the Sports Buzz every Tuesday at 5:30 as a panel of local sports journalists tackle the hottest topics on everything from local high school and collegiate sports to regional discussion about the Twins, Brewers, Vikings, and Packers. With the Power Play Fantasy Football Challenge to the Rant of the Week and NFL Pick'em, the Sports Buzz is fast-paced and sure to entertain. That's new episodes of the Sports Buzz every Tuesday at 5:30 with replays only on HBC TV 25. And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on TV 25. And Coach, you have your quarterback with you today.
Yeah, Jack Nelson here. Jack, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Coach.
I know we had you in earlier in the year, and obviously we're coming off the big win, and you throwing, what did you have, 4 touchdown passes, I think, this week, and against the #1 defense, and I think they're second overall in the whole country. So what was that like for you?
Oh, it was a great day. I mean, offensively, we came out and we executed, and we made some mistakes also during the game, but we overcame adversity throughout the game, and I feel like we just put a whole game together. I mean, we didn't have the great statistics in the world, but I feel like we came together, and when we needed to answer the bell, we did.
A lot of people look at stats and they'll say, well, you had 4 touchdown passes, but geez, Jack, you only threw it for 268. But if you look at Minnesota State stats, nobody throws the ball against them. They only score 11 points. How is our offense able to move the ball against that difficult defense?
Throughout the week, we had a great game plan set up. I mean, you coaches set up a great game plan for us. Really simplified everything down. We were just going to really execute the things that we knew how to do. And it showed on game day. We were able to move the ball all over the field against them. We didn't have the greatest passing yardage, but we were able to throw four touchdowns, rush for 86 yards, which is a lot going against their defense.
Okay.
One of the things that you were talking about was time of possession and the fact that the Warriors don't have the ball as much as the other team. So how are you able to be so efficient with the offense this year?
I feel like what we've been preaching in the past couple of weeks is just conversions. We have to be able to get first downs for our defense, keep them off the field. Same with defense; they got to be able to get off the field on third downs. But our defense played great the whole game. We only ran 6 plays in the first quarter. So, I mean, if we were able to hold on the ball longer, it helps our defense out a lot more, but they were playing great on that side of the ball also.
Let's talk a little bit about the records. I know that you don't like to talk about that all that much, but we got to bring it up. I mean, you're the all-time passing yardage leader at Winona State history, a touchdown passes leader. Is that something that you'll be thinking about, after your career is over, or is that something that you every once in a while just think about now?
I mean, I'll think about it every once in a while, but right now I'm just focused on winning games for this team. I mean, for my family, it's really great for my family. I know my mom's loving all this stuff, but my dad couldn't really care, I don't think, but I'm just like him. But yeah, it's really cool. I feel like I'll enjoy it more down in the future. Hopefully somebody breaks it again soon around here. But yeah, it's really cool for my family, and I'm just hoping to get wins for this team.
One of the things that a lot of us talk about all the time is, I get asked this, a lot of different interviews, but sometimes we throw it to 9 different guys in a football game, but you have 3 guys that are pretty special you throw it to. Why don't you talk a little bit about your connection with those guys?
Yeah, Josh, Allen, and Cam. I've played with them now. It's 3 years in a row I've played with them, and we've developed really good chemistry. We know exactly what the defense is trying to do to us, and they'll come over and they'll tell me things that they're seeing, things that I'm seeing they could do differently. And with the way our line's blocking right now and running backs and tight ends are blocking, we're able to do some things that we haven't been able to do throughout the whole year, but that showed up on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we did, Justin, is we kept the tight end in a bunch more, and we also kept the back in a bunch more. So we really had a 7-man protection and let those 3 guys go win the route game. Then the last question I have, I guess, or going back to Justin, but when you start spreading the ball around like that, how fun is that a quarterback when you look at where you get the same picture all the time because they can't play man-to-man on everybody?
I mean, it's great. I love being able to know what I'm getting, but sometimes, especially against Mankato, they're really good at disguising some things too. I got fooled a couple times during the game.
You missed the corner blitz.
Yeah, I did miss the corner blitz the one time. That's the one thing I struggled with.
The one thing you did wrong. Yeah. Okay, we'll bring that up.
That sounds good. But I mean, when I know what I'm getting, it becomes really fun because I think it was the last touchdown to Cam that we threw. I saw a safety come down. I was like, I know I got to get the ball over the top of that safety, and I know we're gonna score.
Let's talk a little bit about the running game being able to complement the offense. I mean, you do have Eric Berth, which is a bigger runner, and then you have Paul Preston, more of a shifty kind of runner. What is it like to have those types of weapons as well as your receivers?
Oh, it's great. I mean, Paul's I think he's one of the best players in the whole conference. I mean, he's so hard to tackle. I mean, guys look at him, they kind of might laugh at him or something, but he is the real deal. I mean, I tell him before every game, I'm gonna set you up, you're gonna set me up throughout the whole game. And then when he comes off the field, Eric comes in, he's a whole different type of runner. He's a load. He's probably one of the faster guys on our team too. He's a state runner in track. But having those two complement our passing game really helps us out.
I want to ask you a little bit about kind of your confidence. I mean, it's a calm confidence, and every time that I've talked to you, you're kind of the same emotion. Where does that come from, and have you kind of had that your whole life?
I definitely didn't have it on Saturday. I was a little hyped up for that game. I showed a little different emotion that game, but that's how I've always played football. I've always tried to play with a level head. Always try to keep level. I know the game might swing different ways, but on Saturday I kind of let my emotions out, and I was hyped the whole day.
Well, let's talk about that emotion. I mean, what is it like from your perspective as one of the main players on the offense to knock off the #1 team in the country?
I mean, it's something like it's one of those things that it hasn't really hit you yet. I mean, it's something that they can't, nobody can take away from us. We know we beat the #1 team in the country, and it's a feeling that we'll be talking about the rest of our lives. I mean, it's one of the biggest games I've ever played in my life in any sport. I mean, it's up there with some things from high school maybe, but it was a lot of fun.
And then, last question that I have about that is that, I talked to Coach Sawyer about it last week. How do you go into a game like that and prepare and try not to build it up in your head too much and make it just like a regular game?
I mean, I've always just approached every game like it's the most important game of the whole year. I mean, each game you have to set the precedent that it's going to be the most important game. But I mean, in the back of my mind, though, I know it's not just a normal game. It's the #1 team in the country. You have to bring your A game. And I feel like we did most of the game. We still made mistakes, and the mistakes are going to happen. But it's the way you overcome them that makes you a great team.
And the very last thing I have is, coming back home, what do we need to do to play at that high level here at Maxwell Field?
I mean, I was talking with my dad last night. If we turn around and play a bad game against Wayne State and somehow lose the game, that win last week doesn't really mean anything. We got to be able to execute, keep executing like we have been, and bring that same level of intensity.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, man.
All right, thank you for joining us, and good luck next week, or this week against Wayne State. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, Jeff Brown from the defense will join us right here on TV 25. The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub Grill.
Get an inside look at the Winona State football program with the Tom Sawyer Show on TV 25. Brought to you by Jefferson Pub & Grill. Host Justin Barrientos sits down with the Warriors head coach each week to break down last week's game and to look ahead at WSU's next opponent, as well as chat with Winona State players. Tune in at 4:30 p.m. on Thursdays, 6 p.m. on Fridays, 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and before every Warrior home game for the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC. Brought to you by Jefferson Pub & Grill.
Join HBC Sports' Extra Point one-camera coverage of high school football and soccer throughout the fall, presented by Lewiston Auto. In addition to our Football Night Crew broadcasts, Extra Point will bring you 8 games from the gridiron and 9 games from the pitch. For the full slate of games, simply visit hbci.com/sports to find out when your team will be on the field. That's Extra Point coverage of HBC Sports presented by Lewiston Auto, all fall, only on TV 25.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, and time now to turn to the defense, Tom.
Yeah, Jeff Brown's back with us. Captain,
Hey,
congratulations on the win last night. What's that feel like?
glad to be back, and man, it was awesome. I was just talking out there, and you know how you tell us these are the best times of our life, and we finally got to experience when you told us all season that we had been missing it. We were this close, and it came true this weekend, so it was great, man. I experienced that with the boys.
When you're out there, and you're playing almost every snap of every game, which is a lot of work out there, especially against a team like Mankato.
Mm-hmm.
But you played fantastic. You had 10 or 12 tackles and a couple tackles for loss and snuffed out the reverse.
Yeah.
What was going on out there? Jeff Brown was rolling.
Man, just trying to help the team win and just do my job, man. Do my 111th. That's for Coach Brown. Do my 111th, and that was the plays were just coming my way. So when they came my way, I had to capitalize.
Okay.
So you got the receiver on a reverse then in the backfield.
Yeah.
Talk us through that play and tell us what happened there.
It was a play where I was not blade seaming, but arrowing, which is entering into the formation. So my key went away. So my rule is to GTB, get to the butt, and by him getting away, I could just kind of see it coming. So I'm like, oh, here comes the reverse. So I just climbed, got upfield, and made a play.
Yeah, the best part was that, after you got him on the ground, the reaction from everybody else. I don't know if you recognize it because I know you were celebrating a little bit too, but you should have seen the sideline. Well, what is it like, when you're out on the field and you see the people on the sideline and all of us coaches run around like a bunch of 12-year-olds? Tell us what that's like from your perspective out on the field.
It just brings it full circle. Everybody's in the game. I mean, you guys probably reminisce on plays you made and had the crowds.
I can't remember
it. But it just brings it full circle. Like when you see Coach Barton in his intense stance, you're like, oh, I want to do this for Coach. Like I want to get this stop for Coach. And then we just all celebrate. So it's just good to see it come through. Like the game plan was great. Like they had him scouted to a T. And just to see it pay off, man, because you know how the best thing is he's not going to change his model. He's like, I'm going to harp on these things, and that's just me. That's how we're going to do things.
Right.
And when we've, like Coach Curtin said, which team's going to get off the bus? Like, we've seen a team that's played 30 minutes. We've yet to see a team play a full game. Let's play a full game and see what happens. And to just get it all done for them, and that was the best part. Because they tell us what to do, and we have to do it sometimes, or we do it all the way sometimes, but Saturday, it was there. It was perfect.
Well, let's kind of go off of what you just said about what team is coming off the bus, and you also said you were your 111th. Talking to Coach Sawyer last week, he said that all 11 guys on the defense had to play as one in order to have success against Minnesota State. What was it about this week that everybody got on the same page?
We just weren't pressing to make plays. We knew because the way our defense works, it's a gap defense essentially, like with our movement. So if you're in A gap, you're trusting that your brother's going to be in B gap, and that's just what we did. Like Andrew Spencer had a great game. Like a lot of those, our play calls where he was coming backside to where we scouted, and we knew where he was going. He was there every time. He did it. He just did his job. So that was the best part. And not having mental errors. Not giving away anything, making them earn everything that they got. So.
Another question that I wanted to ask you about today was fourth and less than. I mean, it was like 4 inches.
Yeah.
And we got some serious push, and all of a sudden Mike Imperiale's diving over the top. And tell me what that was like. I mean, we shut down Minnesota State 4th and 1 and put the game away.
Yeah. Funny about that is I didn't do my job on that play. But it's just football IQ. Like I saw, because if he would have stayed in the shotgun, then it would have been a little different. But once we saw him, try to creep under center, we knew where he was going. So I was like, oh man, I got to go for it. It's 4th and 1. I know where he's going. So I kind of stoned him. Like I had my hand on him, and then, like you said, I just see Mikey come over the top. So I knew he stopped. And then once Mikey got him, and then the crowd just erupted, I'm like, yes, we got to stop. So that was big. Just having, and he was okay with that. So just having football IQ, seeing it wouldn't have made sense to do, what the play was designed for if you saw he was coming right in that gap. So I just shot the gap, and
how about the 15-yard penalty that we got for excessive celebration when the game wasn't over?
Yeah, when Tam caught the pick,
yeah.
I was like, get off the field, get off the field. But it was too late. They already threw the penalty. So I was like,
that was the best penalty I think we've ever gotten.
Yeah, so when that happened, but I had faith in the offense that they were gonna run it out and not turn it over, nothing to hurt us. So I wasn't worried.
I have to ask you about that punt late in the game. When you see the special teams pin the guy back to the 1 yard line, and now as the defense, they have to go 99 yards rather than like 50 or 40 or however it would have been. I mean, what does that do for you guys on the sidelines, knowing that that's what you're going to face when you go out there?
It gave us like Texas A&M in a sense. It was our 12th man. Like that was our guardian angel from heaven, so to speak. Like we were there like on the 1 yard. So it's like, man, they're not going to beat us. Like, we're not going to give up 99 yards of offense in, like, less than a minute. Like, so we just knew that wasn't going to happen. And we had faith in our victory formation. We knew the DBs was going to knock it down. We tried to get as much pressure as we could up front. So it was in our favor then. Like the football guys were with us. So, and when he didn't field it and I just saw the punt rolling, I'm like, yes, keep going. And then he picks it up at the end and runs more time off the clock. I'm like, hey, that works for us. So.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and good luck this week against Wayne State.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about that game against Wayne State back at home at Maxwell Field at Alter Federal Credit Union Stadium right after this. The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub Grill.
Look at the brows on that.
That's a hog, man.
HBC Sports is your exclusive home for Winona State soccer and volleyball for the 2015 season. Whether you prefer spikes and sets on the court or goals and saves on the pitch, if it's happening with Warriors volleyball or soccer, HBC has you covered. For the full broadcast schedule, simply visit hbci.com/sports to find out when each match will be featured live. That's Winona State soccer and volleyball all season long, only on TV 25.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on TV 25. All right, well, I turned the question to you. You talked about it with the players. How do you carry over this win against Minnesota State into this game against Wayne State?
Well, you just got to ride this as long as we can, and hopefully ride it all the way out throughout the year and into off season. I mean, it put us in a different place. It's a different conversation. The emails and grateful thoughts that people are sending our way, and Facebook and all that stuff that has hit. I want our kids to enjoy that for as long as they can. And if we carry that over with the understanding of how did it happen, that process is something we talk about all the time. And everybody hears it and talks about it, but until you actually do it and have the outcome you want, now I'll go back and try to repeat it. And so as I talk to the players about, just believe that we can get things done and then work hard and put those two things together. And that's exactly what we did. The work hard part has been pretty good. Last week it was over the top, and we need that again. So we need to, it doesn't matter who we play, if it's Wayne State coming in here, Sioux Falls or Mankato. Our football team is really dependent upon hard work and believing, and that part they got right this week.
I know that last week you talked about the phrase, well, a team didn't come to play, or you did come to play this week, and we heard Jeff Brown say, what team is going to come off the bus. Is there anything that you can do during the week in practice or even that game day to make sure that team does show up?
No, that comes from within the team. It really does. It comes from guys like Jeff Brown and Jack Nelson and demanding that happens. Right now, our kids want to play like that every week, and they understand that now, so it's also a new expectation. Yeah. So we're going to go right back to the same work we've been doing with the emphasis on fundamentals, making as few mental mistakes as you possibly can, and then cut it loose on Saturday, just like they just did, but absolutely cut it loose, play as hard as you can. Like I told them, I don't care if you're puking on the field, we got to have it. And we had some kids that were actually puking on the field because they were exhausted. And I said, now you've reached a spot in sport where everybody's looking for, and that's that ecstasy of really playing at the highest level you can.
All right, let's talk about Wayne State, the opponent coming up on Saturday. You have equal records, both 4-4 coming into the game. I don't know how much you can tell from common opponents because Wayne State had a close one against Concordia. You guys blew out Concordia. What do you know about Wayne State this week?
Yeah, they just played Concordia this week, and they're down there. Their starting quarterback's been out for a long time, and so they've been kind of chugging along a little bit. But Ludlow's a really good running back. He's a 6'1", 235-pound kid that can run it, and the quarterback that's playing right now, that played a lot the last few weeks now, can run the football too. So it's going to be a lot more like we saw with Mankato, like we saw with Sioux Falls, where their number one guy or number 1 and 2 rushing guys, really is their quarterback and a running back together. So it's option football. We got to play and do assignment strong and take care of the ball offensively and keep that offense off the field.
Was there anything done on defense this week that you can say, hey, this worked this week, let's try to do this again this week against Wayne?
I think the execution of the game plan was really good. Jeff talked about it. I thought that our coaches did a great job. I challenged them as well, the defensive guys, and we put a great game plan together for Minnesota State. And now we turn around and have similar appearances and formations and those kind of things. So we just have to repeat that. And when we do it right, we can be really good. And our really good players, if they're in the right place, can then make plays. And I know that sounds kind of simple, but it really is. And like he talked about Andrew Spencer. Andrew Spencer is a kid that when he's on, he's as good athlete as there is in the league, and he has been the last couple 3 weeks.
Talk then a little bit more about third down conversions, fourth down conversions for that defense. Is there anything that you saw in that game that you can work on for that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're still, if you look at overall statistics, we're still down, 10th or 11th in conversions on both sides of the ball. So that's unacceptable. But if you really look at what took place in the game, when we stopped them on fourth down and when we stopped them on third downs, those were huge parts of the game. And offensively, we had one where we kneeling it at the end of the game, that kind of stuff, and just trying to not kneel it, but just run it to punt it. Yeah. So really, we were like 7 for 13. So you look at that stat, and it's 50%. I mean, that's way above almost anybody in the country. So we're doing things right in the conversion game. We spend 3 days a week. We're spending time on second down, third downs, and even fourth down situations. So our practice preparation is preparing us for those moments, and now it's starting to show up on the game field.
All right. Well, good luck against Wayne State.
Thank
this
you.
week.
Appreciate it, Justin.
All right. And thank you for joining us here on the Tom Sawyer Show. We'll see you next week here on TV 25.